And now I want your calls on something very different indeed. Do we need a minister for men? 0207 862 2222 is the number we need and you need, and we'll speak to you in a moment. Men living in the most deprived areas of the UK are 81% more likely to die young. Men's health charity Movember have warned that 2 in 5 male deaths are premature. Prevention of suicide, prostate and testicular cancer is at the top of the Movember Foundation's agenda. The charity also warned that men are more likely to take part in risky behaviours and make unhealthy lifestyle choices such as smoking and drinking. Movember are calling for a dedicated health minister to address the poor health of blokes across the nation. So do we have a minister? We do have a minister for women. So do you think there should be a dedicated minister for men? Does seem like it would be only fair.
No, not for me at all. You know, again, I'm sorry, I've used this expression already once on the show, the nanny state. I mean, where does it stop? We've got ministers for most areas of life in this country. We're a very developed Western country. So, Minister for Men, what next? Minister for Pets? Should have a minister to look after your budgie and your cat, because that can, impact on your mental health. What about a minister for loneliness, because some people get lonely? There are some human conditions you have to look after yourself. You can't just keep on appointing government ministers to look after every aspect of your life.
OK, and it would be great if people could only eat healthy and never drink and never smoke and never go skiing and never play rugby and never do anything that there's any kind of risk involved, and always keep a clean mental health and always, go out for walks. It'd be great if it's not happening, Mike, and we have 2 in 5 men dying prematurely.
Which I'm very sorry about, and we've got to, as a civilised society, look at that situation. I agree that there should be a minister for women, because generally speaking, men attack women, very few women attack men. So I'm all for that. Men also attack men, and men are very harsh on themselves. Yeah, I agree. But I'm sorry, you can't just keep extending, the dead hand of the state to look after everything. We've got to take self-responsibility. We've all got friends. If they've got problems, help them. We've all got families. If they've got problems, the family have got to rally around and help. We don't need a minister for men.
I disagree. I think that every group in society should have a minister dedicated to them. And I tell you why. Yeah. Well, men are one of the biggest groups in society, correct?
Absolutely.
Right. So, in recent years, I have seen a huge marketing campaign and awareness around women's health and women's well-being, whether it's menopause, miscarriage, endometriosis, breast cancer. I see it everywhere. And because of it, I'm more aware of what I need to be aware of. And the men in my life also now talk to me about those women's issues.
But that's the job of the NHS, isn't it?
No. But we don't have... I am so uneducated around the things that men in middle age and older age go through, because there's no marketing around it at all. And when you think that there are this many men committing suicide because they feel they've got no one to talk to, when there are this many men who are feeling lonely and abandoned. Remember, women's rights have been brilliant for us, right? We've been out there, we're having our voices heard in places like never before. That's brilliant. But the problem is, it's also helped men feel more isolated. Men don't know who to turn to for support, and this is why you've got really toxic masculinity like Andrew Tate and young boys. When I speak in schools, when I go to speak in assemblies, all the young men, and I speak to young people from ages 10 all the way up to their mid-20s, and they were obsessed with Andrew Tate, obsessed with him, because he's the one speaking for men, saying, men, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to behave, this is where you can go for help, this is how you can have stronger
well-being. That's not a good thing, is it? And we need to discourage people listening to people like Andrew Tate, honestly.
Well, a minister for men would then be aware of the things that men are going through and bring them to the table, bring more awareness out there.
I think common sense goes out the window when you start, trying to argue that there are bad influences in life. There's bad influences in every area of life, and I just don't think you can appoint a minister.
Are we at a stage where we're trying to readdress society and make society a little bit more equal between men and women? In order to do that, we have a minister for women now, Women Inequalities Minister, in order to readdress that balance. But in readdressing it, we've displaced men slightly, and so men now have issues that perhaps they didn't have before, they didn't suffer from, and therefore we need to look at a little bit closely at them and what the issues are and why they're erupting the way they are?
I think your life is, again, being manipulated by outside forces that don't need to be there. Some things
but they
you have to sort out
need
yourself.
to be there. If this many men are dying before their time, think about it this way, it's not only a gender issue, it's also a British culture issue, right?
Yeah.
We've always been stiff upper lip, keep calm and carry on.
Yes.
If we've taught men in life that they've just got to get it done, stiff upper lip, no emotions, etc., you're now juxtaposing that with mental health and them feeling lonely. Of course they feel helpless. They don't know where to turn.
But to be honest, I think we've got a lot of heroes in the world now, and I mean sports stars, you know, and pop stars and people like that. And I'm always very impressed at the amount of time people in the public eye spend talking about mental health, particularly men who say, you know, if you feel down. And I think that's much more powerful, and they should be encouraged to do it, than having a government minister trying to tell you something about your life when, if your sporting hero is saying it, and let's face it, there's an awful lot of sporting heroes who do work on testicular cancer and men's illnesses, when they speak about it, it's much more powerful.
They might speak about it, but when does the policy happen? The policy has got to be brought up in Westminster by a minister. Therefore, men would benefit from it.
OK, we're going to take a pause here.